conference.
Do you think that these favorable comments could go so far as to indicate that he'd be open to it being a reserve currency for the U.S.?
Yeah, so there were some rumblings of that on X this week. It could be something that's very difficult to get done, but it is possible. The Justice Department holds about 200,000 units of Bitcoin. So the United States is the largest holder of Bitcoin. And so they could easily just move that over to the Department of Treasury and start right there and have 13 billion worth of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So it is a possible move. It just could be tough to get done. But what happens is the Justice Department, in holding these units of Bitcoin, they've been a random seller in the space. And so if they move from being a random seller at times, which could push the price of Bitcoin down, over to being a long-term hodler, well, that could be really good for the space and push prices up.
Brian, thanks for being with us. Bono in here. So we've heard some chatter about, Trump mentioning something about onshoring mining here domestically. Can you kind of speak to how that might affect crypto prices going forward, or the dynamics, particularly as it ties into there being some reserve currency?
Right. And so Bitcoin mining, it moves around quickly to the place where it could find the cheapest energy. And at times it's Texas, and it's moved to New York, and it's moved to Wyoming, and it goes back to Texas. And so it really depends on striking these energy deals. And so in a pro-business environment, if Trump is able to lower these energy costs for these miners will then be able to hold more Bitcoin on their balance sheet, further reducing the supply that's available to acquire on open exchanges of Bitcoin. And that could further reinforce the price and help it go up and higher.
He said something to the effect of he wanted to make sure that every Bitcoin minted when he becomes president will be done so in the United States, Brian, which is kind of a funny way of putting it in terms of minting Bitcoin. But I mean, currently, is a lot of Bitcoin actually done here versus abroad? I mean, can you give us sort of that sense?
It would be impossible to mine all Bitcoin in the United States. It's great that he's saying it and, make America great again. And it really will help innovation. It's just too hard to do. There's a wide diversification of miners. They're spread all across the world. And it really goes to where is energy the cheapest. And if you could even put free energy here, another country will give incentives to have Bitcoins mined in their country. It's just something that won't get done. 100% of the Bitcoins mined in the United States won't happen, but more of it happening here by many different companies is always better for the space.